examination is only for 24 hours. So once the examination cell gives you an information about you checking your papers on Moodle, you can view it within 24 hours, report to the subject teachers within that time frame. After that, nothing can be done. I mean, those marks will be freeze then. Okay. So maybe by the end of this week, possibly, because we have a deadline of 8th, it is Saturday. So you people can expect it by 10th, possibly. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
चलो, tell me, what was the last thing we did? याद भी है, बहुत classes miss हो गए. We have just this month, so we are not going to waste any more time. Let us check with the syllabus. What are the things we are left with? क्योंकि काफ़ी दिनों से we were just revising for the mid semester and everything, but we need to move forward now. Okay, can you see this? My screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so unit 1 is done completely. Unit 2, we completed time and tense, subject verb agreement, analogy we discussed, active and passive is left, error detection possibly is left. These two are left here. Next is paragraph writing we completed, punctuations did we start?
No, ma'am.
Okay, we didn't talk about punctuations. Business letter, technical report, this is left. Next is hearing and listening is done. Okay, so introduction to basic sounds of IPA and problem sounds and MTI. Okay, so we are only left with, this is not to be included in your end semester exams, but you get objective questions from here. Okay, as you can see, it's only for the internal assessment purpose. Questions are to be I mean, it's only for uh, the objective questions that you get. Okay, so this is only we are left with 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 use of punctuations. Okay, 5 and active passive and error detection here. Okay, active passive and error detections will take up at the end. We need to finish up with the important use of punctuations and business letter technical report. Okay, chalo. So we'll begin with the punctuations first. Once I finish with the all the syllabus, I'm going to then come up with tests for the lab and the second internal test. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
it is paragraph 15. Okay, so this is all about punctuation. Yeah. Uh, Sorry. In case if you have any disturbance from my background, it is just because I'm here in office and there are other people taking classes, so there might be some disturbances. In case if you don't hear, let me know. I'll repeat. Okay. So this is all about punctuation. You can read this. This is readable.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So with the very basics, what are punctuations? The marks such as full stop, comma, brackets used in writing to separate sentences and their elements to clarify the meaning is what is defined by Oxford Dictionary. Okay, punctuations. Next, Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines it as the act or practice of inserting standardized marks. Okay, please focus on the word standardized marks or signs and written matter to clarify the meaning and separate structural units. Okay. So standardized marks mean, in English particularly or in other languages also, clear, some of the punctuation marks are universally accepted. Clear? And absence of these in your writing will not give a clear meaning to what you're trying to say. Yeah, because you won't be able to separate the structural units. Clear, you won't be able to clarify exactly what is the message, what is the call of action of your message. Yeah, and everything would be interpreted in the way the reader reads it. Yeah, that is very important to learn. And in technical writing particularly, when you have to have communications which are very crisp, which are very to the point, clear, punctuations are must. Okay. Now the different types of punctuations that we have is spacing with punctuations, clear, the space marks, which actually doesn't have a mark or a sign for this, clear, but that goes without saying. We have learned to provide spaces between the words and also between the lines, clear. So we're talking about the spacings, clear. We'll be talking about the periods are nothing but the full stops, clear. In the standard punctuation marks it is called periods, but it is the full stop. Okay. And three periods together is called ellipses. Yeah, which is often used to indicate something which is skipped in between, clear, or it is used in creative writing for where the author or the writer leaves some things unsaid for the reader to interpret. Okay, next we have commas, we have semicolons, colons, semicolons is just because it's a mix of colon and commas. So this was semicolons, quotation marks, clear. We have double quotes, open quotes, close quotes. We have also single quotes. We'll be talking about those things. We have parentheses and brackets, clear. The difference between parentheses and brackets, we'll be discussing about that. We have apostrophes. This is where we most of the Indians make mistake. Yeah, we make mistake because as English is not our mother tongue, and just because we are not very much clear with the the rules for these apostrophes. Here we often make mistakes. Hyphen, the large version, the other version of hyphens are dashes. We have end dash and end dash. We'll be talking about that. We have ellipses, we have question marks, exclamation marks, and slashes. Clear? Slashes, we also have backward slash. This is the forward slash. We also have backward slash that you people use for your computer or your computer subjects, especially for the codings and all. Yeah? So these are the basic punctuation marks that we have. Yeah? Moving on, we'll be talking about them one by one. Okay. With a computer, use only one space following periods, commas, semicolons, colons, exclamation points, question marks, and quotation marks. With computers means with your keyboard, yeah, and the typings that you do on Word. Okay, so the space needed after these punctuation mark is proportioned automatically. You know this, clear. The moment we type, there is a gap. Yeah, there is a understood gap. Okay. Rule 2, use no spaces on either side of a hyphen. All the hyphenated words do not take a gap or a space. Yeah, this has to be kept in mind. Okay, so 23 is just 20 hyphen 3. Okay, these are the rules. Next says with commas, these are used to separate phrases, words, or clauses in the list. Yeah, what are the things we use? So it is a series of independent clauses. Clear? When we have a series of independent clauses, sentences also. I met Harry, comma, we went for a swim together, comma, and afterwards Harry went home. Full stop. Clear? Series of independent clauses. Everything is independent. Clear? Series of nouns take commas. For dinner I had soup, fish, chicken, dessert and coffee. Clear? Series of adjectives. Clear? She was young, beautiful, kind and intelligent. Series of verbs. Tony ran towards me, fell, yelled and fainted. Okay, next series of phrases. The car smashed into the wall, flipped onto its roof, slid along the road, and finally stopped against a tree. Okay. In closing details, also take commas. For example, China, one of the most powerful nations on earth, comma, has a huge population. Okay, can you see this? So these are the enclosing details. Okay, things related to the subject. Okay, then participle phrases. For example, hearing that her father was in hospital, comma, Jane left work immediately. Okay, so with commas we have to be careful because we have so many rules for it. Okay, so it also comes with tag questions. For example, she lives in Paris, doesn't she? Clear? With interjections we use yes, I will stay a little longer, thank you. Clear? And a final warning is putting a comma in wrong places can lead to a sentence with a completely different meaning. Okay? Look at the two sentences. Okay? This is just for you people to understand how comma can make things different. Okay. So this is sorry. Check out these two sentences. I detest liars like you, comma. I believe that honesty is the best policy. Which means I detest you because you are a liar. Okay? I detest liars like you. I believe that honesty is the best policy. Clear? The comma is here. Yeah. Now what this means? You and I both detest liars. Yeah. So a careful placement of comma in your sentences is important because if you don't do this, clear, this is how the entire meaning of your sentence is going to change. Clear? Okay. So these are the rules I have. Yes, please. Anything? Any question?
No, no.
No,
Okay.
ma'am.
Moving forward. Uh, Sorry. We are coming for exclamation marks. Exclamation marks are basically to show your, to express your emotions, clear, express your astonishments, your surprise, your emphasis on, some comment or sharp phrases, clear, or most of the time for, those uh, sarcastic comments also clear. This is mostly used in the informal writing styles clear. The language that we call is the text language. Okay, so this is mostly used. I will talking about this, but let me just finish with this. Okay, so the basic of exclamation mark is to express the emotions clear. Example, help, help, clear, that's unbelievable, comma, exclamation mark, clear. You can also use these marks to mark a phrase as humorous, ironic, or sarcastic, clear. What a lovely day. Okay, that was clever. I mean, you will find all these exclamation marks, particularly in those dialogue writings. Clear? But this is also very much used clear in the informal text languages clear. When we are using the text languages on different messaging apps clear, we use this exclamation marks without giving our heads to it clear. We simply ignore the rules of it, and then we assume that it's okay, it's just a mark clear. I don't have to bother about the mark rather than I need to uh, focus on what I'm trying to tell. Yeah, and you also assume We also assume that the reader who is reading your text, he is going to understand, and he's also going to ignore the exclamation marks. Clear? But understand, okay, with friends, in informal writing that will work, but with the text languages, when you are suppose you are putting up your messages on some formal groups, clear, or for some official communication, clear, you need to take care of the punctuations, not only the exclamation marks, all the punctuations, clear, because as you know, most of the chat boxes, most of the WhatsApp, SMSs, and everything, they are also used for official purposes, and they are taken as a they are also kept as a record purpose. So you have to be very careful for that. Yeah. So avoid using too much of exclamation mark, because that is going to express you as not aware of how the punctuations are used. Okay, so be careful of this. Next is question mark. Clear? So we use question mark at the end of all direct questions. We know that, right? What is your name? Will take a question mark. Do you speak Italian? That will take a question mark. All the direct questions take a question mark. Clear? But we do not use a question mark for reported questions. Clear? Reported questions like he asked me what my name was. Clear? She asked if I was a Spanish. Clear? So these are reported questions which do not take question mark. Long questions still need question mark. Most of the time we are in confusion whether we need to put a question mark, or for a long question or not, but they do take a question mark at the end. Clear? For example, isn't it true that global warming is responsible for more and more problems which are having a disastrous effect on the world's climate, and leading to many millions of people in countries that can least afford in having to contend with more and more hardship. Clear? Question mark. Okay. Next, question marks can sometimes appear within sentences. It can be. It's not always at the end. Yeah, it can appear in middle of the sentence. Clear? Happy New Year. Okay, question marks can make sometimes appear with sentences. So these are some rules. Okay. Next, colons. We'll talk about colons. Colons are the two dots. Okay. Colons are used to show the expansion on the sentences that precedes it. Clear? It's for expanding, or it's adding more information to make a clear clarification. Clear? To give a clarification to things. Okay. So often introducing a list that demonstrates or elaborates whatever was previously stated. Okay. That's basically adding more information to the subject or to what needs an explanation. Okay, we use colons there. For example, there are many reasons for poor writing communication: colon, lack of planning, poor grammar, clear misuse of punctuation marks, and insufficient vocabulary. Clear? So we use colons, and then we use uh, question marks here. Okay. Next is colon marks are also used for separating the time when we are when we have to follow a time format in English. For example, 4:1 5:15. Yeah, 6:45 is written with a colon mark. Okay, so these are the time formats, and we also often use with the date formats too. Okay, we have seen with date formats, there are variations. We often use hyphens, we often use, full stops, but with time it is always colons. Okay, next, semicolons. It is used somewhere between full stop and comma. Yeah, we call it semicolon because we it also has a full stop and a comma. clear, full stop coming at the top, and comma just below it. Okay, so that's the reason it's called semicolons, and it is used mainly to join phrases, sentences that are thematically linked without having to use a conjunction. Clear. So in places where we want to avoid a conjunction in order to unnecessarily elongate the sentence or unnecessarily use a conjunction, we use a semicolon. For example, I like your brother, he's a good friend. Okay, I like your brother. Okay, uh, as he is a good friend, this can also be a sentence, clear, but this semicolon saves us from using a conjunction. Yeah, and it sounds more better with the punctuation marks. Okay, so semicolons can also be used instead of commas to separate the items in a list when the items themselves already contain comma. Okay, so many great leaders, Churchill, leaders of Britain during the Second World War, semicolon, Alexander, the great emperor and general, again a semicolon, and Napoleon, the brilliant French general, had strong characters which were useful when their countries were at war, but which did not serve them well in time of peace. Okay, so a list, where you have so many things to be added, they are these are called the use here is of semicolon. Okay, any questions so far? Anyone, are you following it?
Yes, ma'am.
Wake up, class, stay awake, please.
Yes, ma'am. We are awake.
Okay, so shall we move to the next one?
Yes,
I,
ma'am.
I, I
Yes,
want to
ma'am.
finish. I want to finish off with this. Yeah, it has 21 slides. It has 21 slides, but let's just finish off with this in the very first. I mean, it's long enough because I have provided so many of examples there. Yeah, plus we have just 8 or 9 punctuations. Okay, next is quotation marks. Now, use of quotation marks is to be done very carefully. Clear. Rules are to be kept in mind all the time. Clear, especially with the formal writing, with the formal reportings and informal reportings both. I mean, even in your formal conversations, clear, in or in your communications, in case if you need to have informal writings or write-ups, clear, you have to be very careful of that. Clear. Now, what are the rules? It says the quotation marks to cite something someone said exactly. When you're quoting someone's statement, you use the double quotes. Clear, like this. Clear. And your word file or your keyboard has different ways of providing the quotation marks. Okay, the different styling of quotation marks are there with your keyboard there. Okay, so make sure when you are quoting someone, you are using the quotation marks. I mean, quoting the words of someone, clear, the statements of someone, you are using the quotation marks. In case if you are quoting others within a quote, clear, both single and double quotation marks are to be used to set the two separate quotations off from each other. Okay, for example, I haven't spoken to Peter for months, Dinah said. So this is under single quotes, clear. The last time I spoke to him, he said, I'm going to Bahrain and won't be back for about 3 years. Clear. So this is under double quotes because this is exactly what he said. Yeah, but this is in single flow code because this is what she is saying. Okay, next, and you have to mind the apostrophes with the quotation marks. Most of the time we often confuse with these apostrophes when we use so many of quotation marks in a sentence. Clear. Next, you may see single or double quotation marks used to mark out idiomatic or unfamiliar expressions. We often we do that. So this is, I have always thought that he was very annoying, a bit of pain in the neck. Yeah. So this is basically to emphasize on this. Okay. Next is, I'm not sure what you mean by custodial care. This is under double quotes because it's again trying to quote, but I'm sure you will explain it to me. Okay. So this is how we see single or double quotation marks when we use them for family expressions or we are trying to emphasize on something. Okay. Next, quotation marks, both single and double, are also used for specific purposes in bibliographic references or when citing sources in academic writing. Sorry. Okay. Possibly when you will be taking up your project works in your fourth year, you will be given a class on research methodology, and research methodology will teach you how to provide references, okay, how to use bibliographic references, all the references that you have used for your ppt, clear. What you have done, you have simply copied the link and you have pasted there at the on the slides, clear. That's not the standard way of putting up the references or citing something, clear. In academic writing, which is again part of formal writing, clear, we use a proper format to provide the entire source, clear, the reference source. So the name of the chapter is within double quotes, clear. We also use comma, clear. We also use full stops, clear. Sometimes we use single quotes, we sometimes we use italics, clear. That again is a very separate thing to study, and in case if you happen to uh, study research methodology somewhere in your fourth year, clear, before you sit down to write down your dissertations or your project report, clear, in your fourth year, you should be given a lesson on report, research methodology, where you will be taught about all these things. Okay. So just keep in mind, you shouldn't uh, sound that you're not aware of this, clear. Quotation marks in bibliographic references in academic writing is very important. Yeah. So that has to be taken care of. Next, apostrophes. Now where to use, we most of us we make mistake. I have kept the rules very simple, and the rules are simple. I mean, it's not me that I have kept the rules simple. Yeah, the rules are simple. It's just that we often confuse with it. Okay, in most cases you simply need to add s to a noun to show possession. Okay, apostrophe is used to show the possession of the subject. Okay, a ship's captain, a doctor's patient, clear, a noun without end, the word which does not end with s, clear, they take an apostrophe s, okay, to show the possession. Okay, the singular nouns, okay, plural nouns that do not end in s also follow this rule. Okay, children, apostrophe s, children's room, men's work, women's clear, clear, which do not, plural nouns which do not end in s, they take this rule. Okay, now ordinary or common noun that ends in s, both singular and plural, shows possession simply by adding an apostrophe after the s. Okay, for example, the bus apostrophe wheel, babies apostrophe crying. Okay, so with singular this is the case, with plural this is the case, and with words both singular plural ending with s, this is what it happens. Okay, now with proper nouns, okay, proper nouns like names of the people, cities, countries that end in s can form the possessive either by adding the apostrophe plus s or simply adding the apostrophe. Okay, today both forms are considered correct. Jonas or Jones, clear? Jonas apostrophe s or Jones, just an apostrophe, and many large organizations now drop the apostrophe completely. Okay, Barclays Bank or Missing Persons Bureau. ठीक है, I mean some of the companies, some of the organizations, they have simply dropped the apostrophe, clear, to avoid these confusions, clear. So in case if you find such examples somewhere, clear, you need to understand that these are also acceptable. Okay. Next, but we Indians, we are still not clear with these rules. So we are far away from understanding or reaching out this acceptance that has come with people in the Western countries. Anyways, next, the hyphens. Yeah. Now, hyphens are generally two words. I mean, it is used to join two words together to avoid confusions or ambiguity. Clear? Run down, up to date. Clear? These takes hyphen. Okay. Now, most of the hyphen preserve writing clarity, such as where there are letter collisions. Clear? Where a prefix is added, or in family relations. Okay. For example, cooperate, son-in-law. Most of the time, we often drop hyphens now. Clear? But with some words, it cannot be dropped. Okay, I mean for corporate we do drop the word. We drop the hyphen, clear, but son-in-law it is still used. Okay, now many words that have been hyphenated in past have since dropped the hyphen and become a single word. Okay? This is what I was saying. Okay, email nowadays, cooperate, these are some of the words. Okay, now in some cases the hyphen does not change the meaning of the sentence. For example, I'm thinking of recovering my sofa. Okay, to put a new cover on it. Okay, I would like to rework on the presentation, which is work again. Yeah, next is hyphens are used with, sorry, hyphens are used with the the hyphens are used with the compound numbers. Okay, from 21 to 99. Okay, for example 51, 89. These are things we have been taught in our early days only. Okay, next rule says in written friction places a hyphen between the numerator and denominator, except if there is already a hyphen in either the numerator or the denominator. Okay, 2/5, 1/3. Okay, so the fractions are often separated with the hyphens. Clear? Use a hyphen when a number forms part of an adjectival compound. For example, France has a 35-hour working week. Okay, he won the 100-meter sprint. Clear? So adjectival compounds take a hyphen with it. Okay. Now the other version of hyphen are dashes. Yeah, dashes are nothing but it follows the same thing. It is. I mean, it is slightly longer than the hyphen, clear, but the hyphens join, okay, dashes separates. Okay, this is the difference. Okay, the hyphens join, dashes separate. Okay, and there are two dashes, which is called end dash, which is slightly wider than the hyphen. Okay, this is the symbol, and it is used in writing or printing to indicate a range or connections. And differentiations clear, such as the time period like 1880 to 1945, take a Princeton, N dash New York train. Okay, now M dash is twice as long as the N dash. Okay, I mean the longest one is take a the M dash can be used in place of comma, clear, parenthesis or colon. I mean it's an alternative for comma, parenthesis or colon, ठीक है, to enhance readability or emphasize the conclusion of a sentence. Okay, for example, she gave him her answer no. Clear? So instead of using a comma here, yeah, or a colon, and m dash simply emphasizes on the answer. Okay, and it gives a clarity. It makes the reader understand the impact of this. Okay, so this is called the dashes with n dash and m dash. Okay, next is parenthesis and brackets. Now you need to clear your concept of brackets and parentheses. Clear, parentheses are the round brackets which we have been calling these as brackets, but these symbols are called as parentheses, and these brackets are basically square brackets. Okay, I mean this is what we were using it wrongly. Yeah. So parentheses are the round brackets and the brackets are basically the square brackets. Okay. Next is used in similar way to commas. Clear, when we want to add further explanation. We know that. Clear. Anything in brackets are to use explanation. Okay, or it's an afterthought, a comment that is to do with our main line of thought, but keep it separate from it. Okay, for example, the government's education report, comma, which was published in April 2005. Okay, so this thing in hyphen means which was published in April 2005 shows that the level of literacy is rising in nearly all areas. I have visited Kathmandu, again the parenthesis, which was full of tourists, clear, on my way to Himalayas for a trekking expedition. Clear. Now, what is this doing? This is giving you the explanation. Clear. These are the added information to the subject. Okay. So, square brackets are used for technical explanations or to clarify meaning, mostly with the mathematical, equations. We also have, the curly brackets and the square brackets here like this for the mathematical expressions. Okay, so parentheses and brackets are used with this examples. Next is the ellipses, as I told you. These are the three periods put up together, or the three full stops put up together, mostly found in the creative writing. Clear, with most of your dialogue writings, with most of your poems that you have read in English. Clear, you have seen this. Clear. Now this can occur at the beginning of the sentence, in the middle, or at in between also. Okay, now this expresses the hesitation, change in mood, suspense, or thoughts trailing off. This is what I said. I mean, the author or writer deliberately uses it, clear, so that he or she wants that his or her reader to interpret the meaning, clear, all by themselves. Okay, okay. Okay, so this is to be kept in mind. Yeah. Okay, ellipses. Next, slashes are two slashes, backslash and forward slash. Backslash is used for computer coding. Clear, and forward slash is the only thing that we are using. Okay, which is used in English text, and its meaning depends upon the context. Clear. It is used to separate lines in prose also. For example, Mary had a little lamp, then a slash, little lamp, just to separate the lines. Okay. It is also used as an alternative for or. Okay. I mean, when we have an option. Clear. So when leaving the classroom, the teacher noticed that a student had left his or her backpack. Okay. It is also used to form abbreviations. For example, W/O means without, C/O means care of, A/C means air conditioning. Okay. So this is all about slashes. Sorry, it is also to indicate connecting and conflicting relationships. Yeah, for example, the pro-life or the pro-choice. Okay, the conflicting relationships. Debate is a hot button issues from the voters this election. Okay, Rome or home office. Okay, to denote dates and fractions. For example, in fractions we use these slashes. Okay, the forward slash, and with the date formats we use this. Okay, now spaces before slashes should be avoided. Okay, the only time it is acceptable to use a space after a slash is when breaking up lines of a poem, song, or a play. Okay, so this is all about the different punctuation. These are some sentences that I have put up, but that is all. Okay, anything that you want me to clarify, class? Are you
No,
here?
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
This was a long presentation.
Colons, ma'am.
Huh, colons मतलब what
Uh,
exactly you want?
yes, ma'am, colons. Ma'am,
You want me
I
to
want some
explain
more examples,
quotation
ma'am.
with colons? Okay.
Ma'am, the slide. Yes,
You want me to give you some exercise on it? That would be that would help you, or do you want me to explain more? You want more examples of it? You want me to explain
ma'am,
the
examples.
examples?
Yes.
You want me to explain the examples? What exactly you want?
Ma'am, only give some examples, ma'am. Ma'am, some examples you tell about colons.
I have already put up here in the slides, clear? Check them if you think it is not enough, let me know. Let me just go back to the colons.
Okay, ma'am.
Where is it? Okay. See, if it is already here, okay, there are examples. I have already given some examples. In case if you don't think this is enough, I'll provide more. Okay? Clear? Or
Okay,
let
ma'am.
me just. Just a minute, huh? I'm trying to give you something online which you can refer easily. You just want the examples?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I guess this would work. Okay, check this link. Clear? Shit. Clear? Just check this link in case if you find some examples. Okay, with rules. I mean, I simply don't want to give you examples. I have checked when it is explained with rules, it becomes easy for you. Okay? Clear?
Okay, ma'am.
It's here in the chat box. It's here in the chat box. Anything else? I'll just put up this
No, ma'am.
in Google Classroom. Clear? So we are done with one topic today. We'll take up another one. No, we have a class when again on Wednesday, right? Wednesday, and then we have lab classes too. We'll begin with the business letter and the report writing. Okay, everyone, can you please mark your attendance here in the chat box? 66, 67,